As you can see, there is the dark eye from Francois directly
Yes.
to you.
Yes, it's watching you all the time. So we're going recap. I can do something short here because it was just the last day in Fech Scare where we got back the book from Detroit, the book that was stolen from the Wolf Clan. So we just paid them and took the book because, well, yeah, that's all we had to do. We didn't want to have more trouble there. We didn't want to stay there much longer, but we had the time to have a last drink before going into the Orklands because that's really the last time we were in some kind of a city. We took some information from the Fex, a Fex priestess.
No, it's Perrine.
Yeah. Well, she told us to go to
Oh, right.
Perrine.
Sorry.
And we got to a Fex temple to get some information. She didn't have any. Well, she told us about a little tale about someone, I think, who got there. I'm a little confused, but she told us to go to a temple of Perrine. Well, it's not really a temple; it's a farm, and and she told us to tell the guy there that she was coming to her chicken the next day. But especially we are there to get a bit of information before really going into the Orklands. And we got a blessing from Fix, yes, and Gruff was very impressed by that. He really thinks that he's got Fex's hand on his shoulder for this mission.
Yeah. Okay. And we stopped last time at the Temple of Perrine, where you were basically in this farming house, which serves as a temple, and the priest was just disappearing to get some notes.
Yeah, and it was Mavon that was talking to the person there. I don't remember his name. Yeah.
Just asking, just quick. Last week there was no game, right?
No, last week.
Okay, then because I remember it that way, but yeah, we were just on the very tail end. Yeah, the Perrine Temple, right? Okay.
Right.
Avon had started bailing when we left, just as a favor for the priest, baling the hay.
Ah, right. Thank you. Yeah. So, after a couple of minutes, he will return, holding a large leather folio, and putting it on a desk nearby. I found here a record of this expedition. It was led by Chieko Honiga. She's also a priest of Perrine, and she was following a vision into the Orklands. We have a short recollection here. From what I can see, she followed images of a giant, a griffin, and apparently an orc with a brown head. I don't really know what it means. If I remember correctly, she was very nervous about it, but I don't know much. But she was accompanied by a couple of people. Some Gryphus Domler seems to be a hunter, from what is driven. written here, a Rondrana who watches him, and an Rotger Haas seems also as a watchman.
I can't make heads or tails of that. That's not my expertise, really. It does sound like a vision, though.
What was her name?
Her name is Chieko Honinger. They went 8 years ago, it seems.
It's not that long. We may happen to cross her if we're lucky.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe she is still alive. I believe she had the fear that she would stay in the Orklands to the end of her life, which she didn't foresee for some time, though. She was quite scared, if I remember correctly.
Well, maybe finally she enjoyed herself there, if she's alive. Well, okay, that's some bit of more bit of information that may be useful.
Tim, you there?
Yes, this sounds most unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah, as I said, I still don't get it, really. I don't have experience in these such of things of things of the gods and visions. I just know them from some sermons that I maybe catch something, but yeah. I don't know how this is going to help us on our journey.
Oh,
Agreed.
I
I think we should begin.
didn't know whether it would help you, but you asked about other expeditions, and there was one. But
Okay, well, maybe our scholars, our mage,
It's Detroit.
Detroit, right, could write it maybe down,
I
just
will,
in case.
if you have nothing against it, I would copy it in my journal, if you don't mind. Please go ahead.
Okay.
After a short term, in which he transcribes the whole thing. The priest will also start. What was it? Named hurling or
The priest.
turning hay, baling hay.
Oh
Right?
yeah. Okay.
Oh, Bailey, yeah. He goes back to baling hay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for the information. I think it would be best if we were on our way.
Oh, have something from me. Here, let me just look. Yes, here. This is a flask of one loneberry juice. You best drink it before the night when you are hurt. It's quite restorative,
Oh.
but only in small swallows. It's quite. You can induce vomiting if you take too much. Only small gulps.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I will reach for it
Mhm.
and put it in my satchel.
He will give you a small flask, maybe this size, and you have a somewhat reddish clear liquid in it.
Okay, so I guess we have to wait that the trot finish his copy.
Yeah, he takes about 15 minutes or so,
Okay.
and then he will close his book and put it in his backpack. I'm ready now. I've the whole tale penned down.
Okay.
Right, then we should be on our way, I think.
Yeah. And now
I
it's
bow
real.
politely and walk out.
I start also walking out of the door, kind of a little bit impatient, since I don't really understand these things that well.
Mm.
Well, my character doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, this time it's real.
Yeah. You stand in front of the town wall and are facing into the wilds.
I look at Gruff and I ask him, so since and then I look at Burkai, like, and you two have an idea what direction we should go? Continue on.
Absolutely not. I guess
First we follow river.
that's what I was thinking about.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was thinking about, but I don't know really where this river is leading us and what kind of turn it will have, since the maps we saw didn't have lots of detail about it.
Well, anybody know anything about geography? I mean, there should be a pattern about how rivers tend to go.
Maybe Detroit has something in his book.
Well, I would expect it comes from some kind of mountain, but where or when we find it, I don't know. As far as we know, it must originate somewhere in the Orklands, so we can only follow it to a certain degree.
Okay. Well, let's follow the river. Anyway, any good map has a river on it, so let's begin with that.
Can I make a geography roll to see if I know anything of the area, which direction to go?
You can, though I would impose a +3 difficulty.
Okay. On each roll? On each die?
No, for the talent. If you have
Okay.
if you have negative
Yeah, I have
talent,
6
then,
then.
so you have 3 left, yes?
Okay. Okay,
No,
I failed it without.
that-
I passed it without. Let's see. Yeah, I used up all 3 of my points left.
But you just made it, or?
Yeah, I passed it, but I used
Okay.
up all of my talent points.
Well, you know that there, as what was talked about last time, was the usual travel route, which is to the through the Orc Skull Steppe to the sea, where the Chiron root grows, which is used for alchemics to regain astral energy. Then there is the Orkland is surrounded by a number of mountains. The Great Olachtai, which is to the Thorvalian side. Then there is wait, I have to see the names. Here. Then there is the Firens Wall to the north, towards the settler states. Then there is the Blotz. Blot. Oh, how do I translate that?
What do you want to say?
Zinn.
Zinn?
Zinnen.
Zinnen?
Yeah.
Speak, maybe?
Uh,
I honestly don't know either.
yeah. Well, it's you know, on castles where you have this this repetitive. Of,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and that's Zinnen. But I don't know how to translate that.
I don't actually know what it's called anyway, so
Okay.
it probably wouldn't be any good in my case.
So anyway, it's the Blot Zinnen. And towards the south, you have the Stone Oak Forest, or rather the northern Stone Oak
Okay,
Forest.
it says here battlements. Okay, just
Okay.
use
The
Google
block
Magic and there we go.
Yeah, very good. The block battlements.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at Marbio. So any speech for the record before we go? Just saying like that, I don't know. Every big tales have a speech from its leader.
Should I transcribe anything?
I don't know. Ask the leader.
Well, I don't know. We all seem happy and wanting to go enough. I think we ought to just head out myself.
How about
That's a-
something? How about something about small steps for a man or something?
It's not original.
What
I have to
about
go to
women
the
and elves?
moon to say things like that.
I just say let's go, finally.
Yeah, right. Let's go, and we go.
And I'm just like going, and I'm like, well, I'd rather be on the ship, but well, this is what I sign up to do, so let's do it.
Isn't the water relatively shallow here, though?
What? The river is shallow,
I
yes.
just mean in general.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Here you have quite shallow terrain. There isn't much as far as hills or mountains go. Mm.
While we're walking, I'm giving everyone a bit of a geography lesson on what I know of the area, repeating what you had said earlier.
Okay. Listening, but I'll open the group with Borkai. I guess we can both find the best routes through wilderness to our best of our knowledge.
No, those mountains you talk about, the horns of Brazorak.
And who's Brazorak again?
It's not a
Brazorak.
fire gun.
He, great bull in heaven. He
Okay.
testing orc.
Right. Oh, no, I remember. Yes, you're one of your gods, right?
He god, making every shaman, every leader.
Okay.
Always testing. So, I will just bring up a picture of what kind of terrain you are walking around. If I could find it. Oh, should have been here.
I'm guessing it's kind of, I don't know, maybe like a little bit of a taiga, except, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, as the nearer you are to the river, the more swampy the ground becomes. But here you still have trodden path to lead you, where people go along the river to nearby forests to collect wood and stuff, and to go to their oh God, to their farms. Um, and you can follow these paths for quite a while. And actually, in the evening, you come up in a ruined town,
Oh,
small town, with a settlement on the one side of the river, which apparently had a stone wall for a time. Though in parts the wall has been taken down, it seems. It also looks like someone tried to repair it with wood, with a wooden palisade.
oh,
Um,
I'm looking at that.
but that one has also been broken down in places, and most of the houses inside are burnt down. And the only structure you can find is placed on a small island in the river, which is also surrounded by a wall. And there seems to be some kind of drawbridge that you can put down, but only from the island. Oh, yeah, why don't I do this? So, take the blue tint away. Okay, so here you have a small picture of what the landscape looks like.
Very nice.
Well, that ruined place gave me the creeps. I'm sure it's haunted by some kind of ghosts.
I don't even mention that kind of crap. I don't like listening even to that. But you were probably right. You're probably right, though.
I'm with him. Don't wake up the ghosts.
Just set up the camp somewhere around the wood, and we'll try to find some animals to eat tonight. And well, some roots for Maven if we find some.
You say the forest has spirits dwelling in it.
I'm sure. I don't have a source. I don't know about this place, but a ruined place like that, abandoned, there must be something walking around by the night. Some things we don't want to know.
There would need to be a reason for why they lingered.
I don't want to know it. I don't care. We're gonna stay. At least I'm gonna stay outside. I'm not gonna. I don't like ghosts. I don't like any kind of other spirits. My axe doesn't do anything to them, so I'm pretty sure of that.
Personally, I just don't want to swim to the island. I'd rather just sleep outside.
Yeah. I was expecting to sleep outside tonight, so I'm still on that mindset.
Maybe the thing is in the water anyway, so I don't want to disturb it.
So, do someone who takes over who checks the landscape for places to stay?
We'll try to make a survival, I guess.
Exactly.
Oh boy, I will ask Borgard.
Wait, what did you roll?
Not enough. I just want to check. No, really not enough. No, no, no. No, I do miss.
Okay, so you wander around the area while the others stay next to this place for a while, but you find only places where the ground is too soft to actually stay on for a while. So
Yeah.
every time you put your feet down, after a while it fills with water. It's not directly swampy, but it's very close, and you couldn't lie down anywhere here.
When I come back, well, I have bad news. It's a shame that the sun is going out because there's no place good enough for us to sleep outside the walls of this thing. This place.
I've slept many nights in trees.
Well, if you could help us find some, I'll be glad to get into one.
Well, the nearest forest would be a couple of hours back, so...
I'll be right back. Give me a second. I'm getting
Okay.
something to drink.
Well, I don't mind going back a couple of miles just to find a nice place to sleep. We have nothing to lose right now. We don't know where we are anyway.
Well, could we? I'm guessing we could probably go a little bit inland and just make sure we know which way we went for the river compared to the river.
Okay.
Since we are following the river, we don't have to always stay beside it. We just have to know how to get back to it.
We could try that by night. Well, you know, it's not the first time I have been setting a camp by the dark of the night, so we may try this again. I don't know if Borkai, do you see when it's dark? Well, do you see in the night, Borkai?
I can see by starlight. Well, of course the dog can see by starlight. I will rather trust my lantern here. And so should you.
Just
Will come from Uksh, who will start to make a fire in his lantern.
Okay.
sure the land dries out eventually.
So, inland
Do
we go.
elves have any sort of
Yeah.
Do elves have any sort of dark vision in this world? Or
Not in
low light
particular.
vision? Okay.
But you, as you can perceive, or well, a bit. I think I'm not sure if they actually have the dark vision advantage. But anyway, when it turns night and you look at Maven's face, the inside of his, the pupils of his eye become very, very large. Sometimes up to the point where the iris disappears, so it looks quite haunting. Okay, so you turn inland and try to find an area with a bit more solid ground.
Yeah. I pick up can I find like a stick or something before I go? Just
There's no problem in finding sticks. You have-
okay, I'll pick up a bunch of sticks and just drop them. I mean, you can easily lose your way in the woods.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. You back, Francois?
Yes.
You can do another survival check to see if you find a suitable place inland.
Oh, if I had only one more point, I would have succeeded.
Yeah. Well, this time Bokai will also look. and he will make out apparently there is a large stone slab. Looks a bit like it was put up here a long time ago to stand upright, but has fallen over since. And it is actually quite large.
Huh.
That would be it.
I've slept on worse.
It's slightly upturned, so one side seems to be sinking faster into the ground. But aside from that, it seems perfectly solid.
Okay. That stone, was it
Big enough for all of us?
It's if you get a bit close to each other, it suffices. So you really learn how the others smell this night.
Oh, that's great.
Wonderful.
Oh,
There's no trees nearby.
Well,
Especially
that-
Brokai, who smells a bit like
big
a wet dog.
I'm like, well, this is very much like when sleeping on a dragon ship
Yeah.
with a full regiment on it.
Well, I can stand Borkai's smell since I'm smelly myself. Like, well, I may be right next to him.
I look at myself and I'm like, I don't think none of us are very pleasing to smell.
Well, the DL smells good.
Oh, don't they always?
At least to himself.
So, okay.
Is there no standing trees nearby or anything?
I think the
Well,
dirt and the filth avoids them out of courtesy or something. I don't know.
There are a couple, but they are either already dead trees, you know, like the one in the picture, or they are not very large. So you could try to search for a larger tree with sufficiently strong branches, if you want. But that would be a survival check.
Yeah, I don't stand too much of a chance.
I'm
If I
putting
can't see
already
one
my
inside of there, I'm like,
I'm putting my sleeping
not
bag
gonna
on the
wander too
stone.
far off.
So.
Okay, anyone want to look for food or something?
That's where I will be going. Is it survival again, I guess?
No, I think you should have talent for
Trapping.
trapping. Yeah, well, trapping would be for a longer time.
Yeah, well, I
don't
don't
you
have...
Do you have hunting?
I have no hunting. It's a non-skill.
Wait.
I have track. Not very good at
I
it.
do have track too.
Ah, track. Right.
Okay, so let's track.
I have some food here if we
With-
don't find anything.
Yeah, I hope we all have some kind of reserve, but let's
I've
not
got
use
one
it up
point.
on the first night.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I did. And after maybe half an hour, I come back with nothing. I rolled a 20 somewhere.
Okay.
I got 1 point in fishing, so if anyone has a rod, I could probably suck it.
Night fishing.
Well, I can
don't
try
know.
to track as well.
I've got a rod for you.
You
I'm just
could,
kidding.
if you want, you could also use,
That was out of character strictly. So.
you can also use plant lore if you rather would like to look for berries or something.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm much more likely to succeed in that.
These woods seem kind of abandoned and dead. I mean, I haven't been in as many woods in my life, but still.
You and oh no, I don't succeed in that.
Okay.
So we'll eat our ration tonight.
Okay. So
So
you will
take-
see each other munching on hard sausages and on dried fish.
Do I remove one from my thing?
Yeah.
How many rations did we take? I guess we all took the same amount.
I have for a week.
Oh yeah, that's what I have to do. Okay. Are we?
Yeah, I believe you bought all that in Torwald, so
Okay. 1 week. How much rations does it represent? Is it 3 4 day, or did we eat 1 day of ration today? I guess so. Yeah.
and well, let's say because it's only one meal for now, that would be half a ration, let's say, because it would be the larger meal.
Okay. Half a ration. Okay. So I have 7 rations, and I took.
Well,
half.
anyway, but then I think in the morning you will eat something, so and you still have nothing. So you probably will, aside from the possibility that you might want to go out hunting and
That's what I will do.
looking.
By the next day. Yeah.
Okay. So at some point you are awoken by the rising of the sun, and you can try another time to find some food. Also,
try.
Bokai will go out looking, a spear in hand.
I don't find anything.
Yeah, Bokai will return with a small, small hair on his spear, which isn't much.
I
but,
succeed in plant.
Something.
I succeed in plant lore with 1 point left over.
Okay, so you find a bush with enough eatable berries for, let's say, 1d6 of people.
Okay. 5.
Okay. So this would mean that about half of you, or let's say 2/3, because of the hair, can eat fresh stuff.
I'll take my ration.
And
I already crossed off my ration, so.
Okay. So you have we have the 3 volunteers. Yeah, and so you are up next morning, and I presume follow again, or go again to the river and start following it again.
Yeah. Well, just make an X on our map for that abandoned city we just passed by.
I made a note. I will occasionally mark down something, and in the evening I will draw the respective maps, part of the map.
I wonder how old it is.
Come from Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, some of the burning I saw on the palisades looked almost fresh. I wouldn't say that it was that was longer than a year or so.
You're thinking it was. I'm thinking that it was probably reinforced when someone tried to stay there. They might have went a little too far hunting or something, and then they tried to just reinforce themselves in there after being chased or by orcs or something.
Presumably.
That's my guess.
But I would say it's safe to presume that settling beyond this point is harder.
Just looking at the terrain, I can imagine so.
Yeah. Wouldn't exactly want to build out here.
So, and you wander a while um, along the outliers of the border, and uh, for um, uh, for a couple of days you follow the river, always trying to find food. Mostly you'll have to eat Orkland hare. The berries you found, small violet ones. And if you want to try the occasional fish from the Bodia, but for the next few days at least, you find no
I don't think anybody brought any fishing equipment.
I didn't understand that.
I said I don't think anybody brought any fishing equipment.
Oh, right. Okay, so no fish.
I have that. I have a fish hook in my.
Ah,
Okay, so yeah, you could fish. You can fish.
Okay. Cool.
so the river mostly goes in the same direction, with a few turns left and right, but it's almost like a straight line. And on the third day, you finally have a point where you can't really stay close to the river anymore, because the area gets too swampy, and you are turned away from the river even more because you come up against a forest. Let me just bring up a map. Where's the window? There. I hope this works. Here we start the actual Orkland campaign. What you can see here is a map. Do you have any questions to what the different symbols on the map mean?
I'm guessing the black is the fog of war that we don't know what it is yet.
Exactly. I will just I have a layer on top of the map, and I can turn away with a rubber some of the
right,
fog of war.
obviously, yeah.
One thing though, please ignore the ways that are on the map. They are not really there.
Okay.
What you can see a couple of hills and cliffs in the distance, which is why I reduced the fog of war there. And you start basically where this way begins, and I will mark your way by this red line here.
Okay.
These squares on the bottom here, like this one, mean that there is clear terrain with grassy ground, or with patches of grass at least.
That would mean we could move at full speed, right?
Right, exactly. This here, north of you, would be forest. These kinds of stones represent cliff sides, which are very harsh mountains to travel. So there You would basically have to mountain climb, and these here would be rather hills, so more accessible. And this black here would be the river.
Alrighty.
Okay, as far as travel speed goes, if you move on grassland, you can make about 2 squares in an hour. And presumably, if you don't want to be particularly fast, you have 8 hours in the day, 4 of which have already been used on this one.
Okay.
We're not especially on a rush.
Unless we have a reason we shouldn't, we should preserve our energy, I say.
Yeah, and we have to take
We know-
time to explore anyway.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of the idea, and I think there might be a chance that we have to be faster if we're being hunted.
Our only rush is avoiding the week of the nameless god, but that sounds like that's far off.
Yeah, you still have 2 months till the week of the nameless. So
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't want to deal with that crap either.
Hmm.
okay, so where do you move?
Well, I'll let Marbio decide. Why I don't know personally.
Well, probably since we are conserving our energy, let's just 1 square under our max move. 1 or 2 squares under our max move would be, and just follow the edge of the forest.
That's what we'll do.
It seems like it would.
Okay. So you will walk along here. Looks like a kind of a swampy forest from what you can see. And about here, you will see suddenly see a dragon in the sky with 3 heads. And apparently it's chasing a free roaming herd of some kind, probably horses, somewhere here in this general area, and goes down a couple of times. Sometimes you can see something falling off. I should.
Perhaps we should head into the forest until this thing passes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that looks
Go in the
dangerous.
forest.
Okay.
The forest suddenly looks much safer.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can find the art there. Paint this and turn. Turn. Okay, so.
Oh, can I make another roll for astral points?
Oh, right. How much? You should have 4 rolls by now, so you're probably
Okay.
full.
Okay, can I just put it up at full?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it will be useful, I think.
So
Yeah.
here you have a small image of the horses and the dragon in its full glory.
Okay, now you've done it. I won't sleep tonight.
Out of character, we don't want to fight this. I don't know how much they changed the stats on that thing, but
In character.
Good character. I don't want to fight this. I'm going in the damn forest.
in and out of character, I don't want to fight this.
I heard that there would be dragons here. Well, that should be a matter. But these ones, I don't want to encounter unprepared, at least.
Yes, we're not in the business of dragon slaying. We're here for a specific purpose. Let's avoid this thing.
It is though magnificent, I'll say that, but it is also very scary. So I say, let's go on.
Okay. So, where do you want to turn? Do you want to follow? I will go somewhere.
Well,
go into the forest.
We could follow just along the perimeter inside the forest.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should follow it. They
Well,
might
we're not gonna
notice
follow
us.
it. I mean, let's keep adjacent to where we are, but go and find a good, concealed spot in the woods. And wait for a sign for it to go away.
Okay. So you basically make a detour into this square. Yeah, probably should have done this before I made the marker.
This one is housing an archdemon.
No worries. Um,
An army of the undead? No, I'm just kidding.
so, So you go in here. In the forest, you have about a travel speed of 1 square per hour. So you have now 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So this basically comes in the evening. We have maybe half an hour left of the daylight.
Yeah, well, I take the last daylight to hunt.
Okay. So do a tracking
Yeah.
roll.
This time it works. We'll see. Okay. Track. Oh yeah, 6 point.
Okay.
Left.
While you track, you also discover a bit more of the terrain.
And I'm always looking. Oh.
I was just going to say I succeeded on my plant lore for looking for more
Okay.
plants.
I always look up to the sky in case there's some unusual shadow going over me.
You can hear the occasional roar in the far distance, which you can't really tell where it's coming from, but it's easy at least to imagine that it's a dragon.
It doesn't scare the hare I'm chasing.
Well, they are
used to
scared more of you than they are of the dragon, it seems.
Okay, well, I guess they are used to that dragon.
They might be scared stiff and make easy hunting.
When you've just shot a hare from the distance, and suddenly in the through a couple of bushes you can hear something coming closer.
Oh.
Seemingly in a hurry, and then a deer jumps through these bushes, hurting, coming on its forelegs and basically breaking down.
Okay.
And lying there with a spear in its backside.
Oh, we're not alone.
What do you do?
Okay. Frankly, I have to be right back. Just a minute.
Okay.
Then I have to get one of my kids to bed.
The suspense. Okay.
I'll say I'm probably with them because I went out looking for plants.
Yeah. You at least can see that from a distance. You heard the arrow, so you look over there just as the deer comes through the bush.
Can I see her?
What?
Can I see the
I
archer?
didn't understand that. Sorry.
Can I see the archer? Whoever shot the arrow.
Oh, you can do a perception check. Though,
Perception.
wait. I would say because they are in the woods, I impose a 3 increased difficulty.
Okay. No, that's quite a failure.
Okay. So you're looking, but aside from occasional movement, which could also be attributed to trees swinging in the wind that's picking up, you don't see much that you could attribute to whoever killed this animal.
Okay. Well, what was there someone with me when it happened?
You,
Yeah, I went with.
well, he's in a distance away, maybe 20 to 30 meters away.
Okay.
I'm guessing I stayed at the camp because I'm not a big hunter myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume most of us are.
I'll start heading over towards Gruff, keeping my head down.
Okay. Do you want to stay hidden, or do you just want to get as fast as possible to him?
I'm not trying to look like I'm threatening, but I'm just moving with my head down just to try to
Okay. Okay.
avoid any incoming possible arrows.
Yeah, well, I try to find a place to hide myself.
Okay. Then do a, I believe it's hiding.
Yeah. Okay, got it with 4.
Okay, so you find a nice bush next by and crouch below it,
Yeah.
so that you still have the possibility to shoot at whatever comes, but are mostly unseen aside from the tip of your arrow and maybe one of your eyes. And what you can see then coming through are some roughly humanoid shapes with shining skin, it seems, in small patches like scales, reflecting the red sunlight from the sundown. I'll just check where I have an image. Here. Here. Damn it. Here. Da. Okay. Insert here. Let's make that a new one. Okay. Share different window. And here. So, you can see these two green-brownish
Yeah, I know this one.
creatures coming through the woods, and one of them kneels next to the deer and slits its throat with a knife. while the other sees that Maven is coming, makes a hissing sound, and raises one of these spears in a menacing way.
Would my folklore give me any chance of knowing what they are?
You can at least try.
Okay.
While I'm standing by.
C-L-I-N-C-H. Okay. C-L-I-N-C-H. Okay, I pass with 5.
Okay, you would guess that these would be Achats or lizard men. From what you hear, they are very old race that mostly lived, or as far as you have heard, only live in the south. And where the great menace of the humans in the early days of the Tulamids, the original Aventurian inhabitants. Though what they do so far north, you don't know.
Do I know anything about their disposition? Are they generally friendly, or are they hostile?
At least from history, they are mostly portrayed as antagonists, but you have no idea. You know that there is a city, at least one city, where humans and Ahats live together, but if that can be generalized, you have no idea.
Well, when I see one of them pointing a spear at me, I just stop and lift my hands up and bow my head respectfully towards them.
When he sees that, he kind of makes he slightly backs down and lowers the spear again, just holding it, so that it's between you, its tip is between you and him. He will point to the deer with one clawed hand with 3 fingers, and then pull the hand back, and
I nod my head, I point at it, and then point to him.
And then he will take down the spear, at least, or not take down, but he will just put it in the ground.
I just don't do anything threatening, I'm just staying there. Says, do you speak a language that I might know? Just trying to see if he understands what I'm saying.
Both of them will shortly look at each other, apparently just with one eye, while one of their eyes is still pointed at you. Somewhat like a chameleon. And they will exchange some hissing sounds. Lita speaks.
After a moment, I nod my head. And I point to myself and say, Maven.
Shh.
Shh.
He will nod. Chaka. He will point at his company.
I bow my head, Chaka, and bow towards him. And then once to him as well, I point to myself and say, Maven.
Defense.
I shake my head. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of raise my hands like I didn't understand what he said.
Fun. Then the other one, meanwhile, starts to cut up the meat, and he seems to also have a couple of bowls with which he collects the blood that comes from the various wounds of the animal, and will give one of the bowls first to Shish, and then he will give one of the foul bowls to you.
I'm the worst person. I take the bowl and nod my head, and I pull out some of the berries and fruit that I've collected and hold them out to him.
Okay. Shish takes them and raises his hand and eats. You can see that he has teeth apparently, though quite flat ones.
I'll pretend like I'm drinking the blood, but I kind of revulse my stomach turning as I bring it up to my mouth.
You can do a self-control.
Out of character, at least he didn't give you the scrotum of the deer or something. If it doesn't feel deep.
Self-control be under. What would self-control be under?
That should be physical, I think. Oh, sorry, I've always do it wrong. It's
Body
willpower.
control?
In English, it's willpower.
Oh,
Yeah.
willpower.
Yeah.
COCNST.
Courage, Constitution, Strength.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I rolled a 20 and a 15. Okay, so no, I don't pass that.
So you try to bring the bowl close to your mouth, but it's just too icky. And you can't bring yourself to it. It's still steaming.
We're gonna die because the elf is too much of a wuss. Great.
Also, the smell of iron is very strong, and
He's in his bush and he say, "Oh no."
Well, I hold it down. I hold it in proximity, and I bow to them, bow my head towards them.
Mm-hmm. He will look a bit quizzled, as far as you can tell from a lizard man. But then he will look down, and the deer has been almost processed with large chunks of the meat nicely packed up. And the other one will stand up, parts of flesh hanging from his back on strings. Then he will point at the deer, or at least what's left of it, and then point at you, and turn around into the.
I just respectfully bow towards them, and just watch them leave. Is it Gruff? Gruff, where are you?
Well, I'm waiting that those two lizard men are away for real.
Yeah.
And I get out from my bush and say, "Oh, this was close."
I just drop the bowl on the ground. I think they
quite
gave the rest
entertaining.
of this. The rest of the deer is for you, I believe.
Yeah, well, that's quite a gift.
Whatever's left.
Yeah, well, okay. I begin collecting what's left of it, and I look nervously at the direction where those desertsmen were. 'Cause if
Yeah.
they come back, I don't know how they will react to me. You know.
Yeah.
And I
But
take my hair.
you nervously look over your shoulder, always having the feeling of being watched, but um, you can't see anyone. But then again, it's already getting quite dark.
I
And actually, it's the when you finished, it's there's almost no light left, and you are standing in the dark forest.
Okay, so
Wonderful.
let's get back to the camp. Do we have some kind of light source we can use that's not too demanding from you? I do have my lantern though. Torches.
How,
Sorry.
how far off are we?
Hmm.
You maybe half an hour. Or
Okay.
more.
I can make the. Well, do I need to make orientation?
Well, in the dark, I would say yes.
Yeah, because
Not with increased difficulty, but
we're lost.
I'm just gonna cast Flim Flam Twinkle and
Okay.
cause a cold light to appear in the air in front of me.
okay. Do you succeed?
I would hope so. Yeah, I use 4 of my MS points.
Okay. So he snaps his fingers, and over his hand suddenly there appears an orb of light. And that's a bluish white light that paints the area in a ghastly light.
Let's move quickly back to camp. I don't want to have to concentrate too long to maintain this.
Yeah, well, I'll do my best, but I have the feeling that I'm not sure where to go. Roughly this direction though.
Mm,
Orientation. Isn't it?
yeah. Do you know how much you failed?
Oh. A lot.
CL,
Well,
I
well,
can do an orientation roll.
yeah, well,
You can do, yeah.
Okay, I don't do any better.
well, I failed my cleverness by maybe 1 point and my intuition by 4, something like that.
Okay. Okay, so instead of half an hour, it takes you a bit longer. And after an hour, you have made it back to camp.
Well, you won't believe what we just saw. Sorry
Whatever.
for being late.
What have you seen? It's
They
been
were,
taking quite a while.
We found a couple of hunter ahats.
What the hell is the ahats? Would my character know anything about that?
You can do a what is it? Is it legendary lore? I don't know.
Folklore?
Sagen und Legenden.
Sagen und Legenden. I don't think I have that. Wait. Götter, Kulte, Kriegskunst, Heraldik, Rechnen. Okay, yeah, okay. I have 5 in that actually. Okay.
The Trevelyan upbringing.
the
Legend
Tor-
are knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Let me see here. So I got 5. Sagen und Legenden. Intelligence. 4. I actually made my intelligence.
Okay.
Wait, no, I just did the intelligence. Give me a second
okay,
here.
Okay.
Because usually I fail at the intelligence because it's not very high.
Yeah.
Okay, intuition 11 and 8. Okay, 3. So I have still 2 left. And charisma And I completely botched the charisma roll with 20.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I've got that too. Folklore, right? In the English
Yeah.
version.
Yeah.
All right. 2, 17, and 20. Cleverness. Well, of course, I don't have less than a 2 on anything. 17 for intuition, which I know I missed. But yeah, I didn't get it either.
It's like I did so well, and the last roll a freaking 20.
Yeah.
You know? Oh well, that's what you're gonna do. So I'm like, it doesn't come to mind. What are those again? What is it you're talking? Ahats? What
Yes,
is
the
that?
ahats. They're lizard
That's-
men.
that sounds like the sound if you wanna like need to spit something, like ahats.
Yeah, it's
Lizard
unusual
men.
for them to be this far north. I wonder why they're here.
Hmm.
But at least they were very
That's-
cordial.
That sounds amazing. I'm happy they didn't attack you or something.
No, we exchanged some. I gave them some of my fruit that I had found, my berries, and they gave us the rest of the deer that they had hunted.
Yeah, they wanted Maven to drink blood. That was
Oh,
quite
dear.
entertaining.
Wow.
Well,
It
That-
was not
that's-
entertaining.
Ah, yeah, well.
Well, it's not cool.
No.
I know in some regions in Torwall there where some people make blood pudding or blood sausage. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been a little bit weird, but
Well, if I'm back in Thorvald, point those places out so I don't go there.
yes, I will. It is. Well, I'm happy they didn't get upset about that.
Well, that's a good
Apparently,
point.
their leader speaks language that I can understand. They were able to communicate a little bit, but I didn't feel any need to find their camp.
No, it sounds quite amazing, though. I mean, that's some legendary folk, I'm guessing. So
Well,
it doesn't come to my mind at this point. So
One thing for sure, if we meet them again, Maven, you will be the one speaking to them since you're their new friend.
Well, at least those two.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could identify them again. They were very similar in their appearance.
I'm sure they think that about us too.
But they left us with some meat, so we'll have something to eat for the next 2 days at least.
Yeah.
That was quite kind for themselves, for us. So we'll eat deer.
Out of
And I
character,
will eat berries.
would my character know anything about curing meat with like ash?
What do you have in cooking?
Let me see here. Maybe not very high.
I'm actually not sure if I know in the old in third edition you always had cooking at least on the
Yes.
sheet,
I do remember that.
but I don't know if you still have that.
I do. I have one in it,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I'm not feeling. I'm not feeling it trying it out at this point.
Yeah.
My confidence
I
in my roles has
I
been
have-
already.
I have two.
Okay.
Okay, I will try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It just means we could carry it longer.
Though because it's not too much, just for the next day, I would say you have an increase, so it's easier by, let's say, 4.
Even by that, I do miss quite poorly.
Okay, so yeah, the meat is getting quite burned.
Yeah.
But you can still scrape off the outer layers and have a nice dried meat.
Yeah. Okay.
With an assortment of berries, of course.
Hmm.
So, do you do anything special?
I play some gambling dice with whoever wants to.
That'll probably be me.
Well, I have lots of blood to wash, so I don't think I will participate in any entertainment so far. And I'm very nervous.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. Me too, but I'm just trying to keep my mind occupied with something else. I'm like not out of my element at this point, very much so.
Do we still hear the horses and the dragon roar even in the night?
You occasionally hear some loud noises that, loud but far away, that you cannot attribute, but that could also be thunder somewhere. Though you don't really see any lightning in the distance. Mostly from the direction of the mountains.
Okay. Are the other nervous? I'd say Detrot, Asgard, Alma.
Detrot will mostly scribble down an account of the meeting with the Achats. Well, you're back. Very good. And so, tell me more. How were they closed?
How were they clothed? They were wearing very rough clothes made out of skins.
And did they have any tools?
Yes, they had quite an assortment of hunting tools. They had spears and they had bows. They had knives for which they were skinning the animals with. The animal. They were very skilled at what they were doing. Very good hunters. I must say they processed the meat. They sliced it into pieces rather quickly.
Yeah, and he will always, all the while, scribble it down in his notebook.
One of them was named Shasa.
Shasa. Mm-hmm.
I can't recall the other's name.
Well, we don't. That probably is not the most important.
Well, I asked Burkai if he knows anything about those people.
I heard, but only from Mukolash. They brown orc live in swamp.
Brown orc, okay.
Wow, that rings a bell.
They say they're people who don't move night with scale as height, but fierce when angered.
Well, I'm happy we didn't anger them then.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that the reason they don't live closer to any other races is because most races probably didn't deal with them very well.
Well, something that at least for the Torvalians would come to mind is the eternal enemy of Swafnir, which is of course Horanga, is at least the king or the king or leader of the sea snakes, and everything scaled at least has some kind of
Connection.
connection. Not necessarily directly, but it's always feels a bit icky.
Well, only I can say is that if they are connected with the great sea serpent Rangar, then I'm like, huh, that's not something that I would have liked to seen myself.
They were quite pleasant, actually.
Is Rangar kind of like the Norse sea serpent that like Yggdrasil, which is around the sea? Does he
It
make the waves and the storms?
has some similarities. Yes, it's most
Yggdrasil, by the way, sorry. So
yeah.
it's weird to
Um,
pronounce.
Though I don't know too much about Yggdrasil because
Well, he's just a serpent on the edge of the sea, and his movements cause the storms.
okay.
So that's how I
Well,
would.
here it is more that the fighting between Swafnir and Haranga, because they are eternally in battle, causes the waves.
Right, right. Well, also I do know, and I should know this, that there is other sea serpents that are probably
Yeah.
related to Rangar
Yeah, they
that are
they're
gigantic,
still-
epic creatures that basically just destroy ships out of shits and giggles. And I'm like, if they're related anything to the sea serpents of the sea, I really don't like them. And believe me, that Rangar has caused a lot of storms that I rather would not have been in. I haven't seen another sea serpent yet, and I never wish to, because, well, I know that very few survive an encounter like that.
I tell you, if they are what you said, then they are surely in league with that devilish dragon.
Well, they are both serpent-like.
Back
I will.
a couple of thousand
I
years
don't-
ago, when we still lived all together before the nation split up, we had a war with a dragon, with the golden dragon of the south, who led a huge nation of these things.
I wonder if this dragon is trying to lead these Ahats to a new war of some sort of conquest. I hope not.
I don't
would
believe
doubt
so.
it.
They were very hospitable to me. If they had been antagonistic, I feel like they
Well-
would have shown something.
Maybe they liked you because you were an elf? I don't know. I don't know how you would act with humans. Or dwarves.
Well,
Or
from
orcs,
what-
for the matter.
Yeah, well, from what I saw so far, they didn't seem to be warriors of some sort, just hunters getting some meat.
Maybe the
And
warriors
all
of the
the
tribe would have
dragons,
acted differently. I don't know.
No.
I think it should be fine, but we should be cautious.
Well, when I treated them respectfully, they behaved in kind. So as long as we treat them in such a way, I think we'll be fine.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Okay. So after an evening of entertaining conversation, you turn in and begin to sleep.
How much was a game round again?
A game round is between 5 and 10 minutes.
Okay, because I have to use
So-
one ASP per game
Yes,
round. For...
so that would be about six astral points.
Okay.
But you can also do the regeneration right now.
Well, hopefully I'll get that many back.
Okay, so in the morning, when you wake up, you can do a perception check.
No.
So I recovered 3.
Mm-hmm. Did you do the intuition check to see for the
Yeah, I
additional?
failed it. I
Okay.
failed it.
Just checking.
Magnificently, I failed it with a 20.
I failed my perception check. Although the last one was pretty good, I got a 1 in that, but I didn't have enough points. I have only 1 in perception.
Okay.
Yeah, I passed with 1 left.
So when you wake up, Mario.
Oh, I was figuring it out. I have I missed it by 3.
Okay. So you, those who failed, wake up quite normally, just stretching. You, Maven and Gruff both notice that a couple of meters away, maybe up to somewhere between 10 and 20, between the trees, there are Achats standing there, and they are standing in a circle around your camp.
Okay. How many?
From what you can see, there are maybe 10, and they are holding spears, from what you can see, behind their backs. Though it doesn't do very much for concealment because the tip point comes over their heads.
That's strange.
Well,
when
I have my shield on my side, but I don't pull out a weapon because I'm kind of afraid they could just spear me like a pig at this distance. So.
But when I see one of them, I hold my hands up and just greet them, say hello, and bow my head politely to them.
One of them, as you do this, comes closer, steps towards the encampment. Shh.
I point to myself and say, Maven.
And he will hand you something over. Apparently, some leather where there are brown stains that somewhat form signs in Garithian.
I walk up to him and hold my hand out.
Some form of runes start the whole thing, and then King of Tribe invite.
Can I read what it says on it?
That's what it reads.
Oh, that's what it reads.
Yeah. Though
I bow politely.
runic symbols that are somewhat round, you can't read.
Okay. I bow politely and I walk back to the camp and say, we have been invited by the leader of the Achat to visit their tribe, apparently.
Well, this is a trap, of course.
Well, given the number they have here, I think we don't have any much of a choice. We're not armed. We just woke up.
If it were a trap, they could have taken us in our sleep.
Yeah,
well, he has a point.
I don't think that we should not say no because we would upset them, and right now they're in an advantage. And I agree, if this would have been a trap, it would have been easier just to attack us while we were sleeping.
Well, there's always.
Plus, we don't
it's
know
always
how-
a good idea to make friends.
Well, maybe they make a mistake when we go, and we can spring on them.
Even though I have my reservations about them and everything, and we shouldn't trust them yet, I think in this situation we could use some allies, and they seem to be friendly enough. I'm not.
Yes, we don't know. We don't know how far the reach of their tribe is, and if we upset them, it could work against us in our long-range travel.
They would kick us out of the forest and be an easy target for that dragon.
I tell you, they will sacrifice us to it.
I doubt it. We would have been dead if they wanted us dead. They don't seem to be restraining us.
Well, if it's a sacrifice, they want us alive for the sacrifice.
Yeah, but they could have restrained us at least in our sleep.
That's true.
Come with 20 or 30 of them, jumped on us in our sleep and tied us up.
As you talk, you can see that Asgard, at least, seems to be looking around and grabbing her axe very, very strongly.
I know. Asgard.
What? They at least they could gather somewhere.
Drop your weapon. If they wanted us dead, it would be done by now.
This could be a very interesting cultural exchange.
I think so too. This could be a very fruitful endeavor.
Well, either way, I'm thinking I'm somewhere in between. Right now, we should join them. I don't really trust them, but we could maybe also stock up on some rations and.
Very true.
And we shouldn't necessarily think the worst. I mean, even though I have my suspicions, let's just go on for now.
I walk back over to that one and say in Garethi, we would be honored to meet your leader.
He will look at you with a slightly turned head and will hold out his hand to you and pull it to him, and then turn around and push his hand in a certain direction into the forest and look at you again.
I just nod my head.
That seems kind of to satisfy him, and he makes a hissing sound, upon which the Achats break off their circle around you and seem to gather in the direction that the one you have talked to pointed in, and then they are waiting for you.
Well, it seems we have an escort. And I slowly start packing. Well, I quickly pack up all of my goods.
I'll try to pack as fast as I can, but I try to see if they really want us all to go or just Maven. Maybe it wasn't clear, that invitation.
Well, I'll pack and
my jacket and put it on over the toad skin.
Well, when Maven is ready, they don't start to walk into the direction, so...
Okay, they want us all.
yeah.
It's
Also, I won't let.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying I won't let Mavon go into that camp by himself. If everything is fine, then it's fine. But you know. Anyway, I pack up my stuff and I have my shield on the side. I have my weapons on the side. I don't pull them out. Obviously, I don't want to show aggression, but I'm ready for anything. So, and I had my shield anyway, always on my side.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Is Asgard more calm?
She calms a bit down, but she still eyes them the whole time. Her grip on her weapon hasn't loosened. The veins on her arm are strongly visible from the strength with which she cramps herself. But finally, when the last one of you is ready, the Ahats seems to start to walk in a certain direction.
I follow behind them.
I follow too, of course.
What you could also see is that Uksh loaded and readied his crossbow.
I kind of watch Uksh.
Well, he also looks over to the Ahats, but either he doesn't want to appear aggressive, or at least he is satisfied for now. And you move through the forest for good 1.5 hours.
Just a second.
What?
he said he's gone for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dad's cooking something, and the fire alarm went off.
And you walk into the forest for quite a while.
Yeah.
And where there.
Mavon seems in extremely good spirits as he's walking through the forest, and after about a half hour or so, he pulls out his flute and starts playing music as he's walking.
I'm cautious. I'm looking at them, and I never seen anything like this. Maybe in a drawing in a book or something, but
Yeah.
but it's just amazing to me to see such foreign creatures. I mean, yeah. So because even elves and dwarves look, very human-like in many ways.
Yeah. Also, the movements of the Ahats seem very. Either they don't move at all, or they move in very high speed, which kind of gives them. Yeah.
Adds to their alien nature, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. They appear very alien in
Yeah.
the way they behave.
Yeah. I'm quite curious about them too.
So after 1.5 hours, you enter an area where they apparently cleared away a bit of the trees, and there is a hole in the ground, which is apparently steadied by some kind of wooden constructions made with twigs. Which goes into a man-made hill. Is that a mound?
Okay.
No, that's I don't know if is a mound.
Yeah. A mound.
Okay. So it goes in there, and one of them, maybe the one you spoke to, it's hard to tell, points into the hole. And I would say this is a good breaking point.
Okay.
Yep.
Into the hole.
Just
Into
one
the
last question. We were escorted by about 10 of them.
Yeah.
But is there any other?
You can do a perception check if you want, to see if you find any more in the woods.
No, I fail.
Okay.
They
So-
know rolls are succeeding almost.
I passed my perception
It's
roll.
good we didn't
Okay.
got into a fight, because then we would have been just dead.
I think I've played too much Pathfinder this weekend. That's why I rolled out.
Yeah,
There we go.
your dice are still trying to play another game.
Yeah.
Okay, so Maven you can't see any more in your travel or around your travel group. But when you come to this mound, you can see a couple also standing in the woods, doing some kind of labor, it seems, with some tools that don't belong to the group that brought you here. But that's about it.
I just very slightly, whoever's standing next to me, point to those over there. At least nod in their direction.
Mm.
I just kind of say that. Do you know maybe if the women and the men look the same?
That's a good question.
And
When
I
I look
haven't
at
seen
lizards,
any
I think.
children yet. I mean,
Um.
maybe they have a separate area.
Well, when I see little lizards on rocks and things, I can't tell the difference between the men and the women. So
Oh,
Maybe
We're
there are
not-
no men's and women's, and they lay eggs by themselves.
Hermaphroditic.
that sounds very weird.
I've heard that some lizards from the south do that.
That is quite weird.
Well,
But
I
then again,
probably won't be asking them.
I've never been to the south.
No, I've never been to, but that was a
I have heard
no,
some weird stories about some weird creatures and folk.
Yeah, well, that's I've heard that on a tavern some years back.
Ah, taverns. Anybody
Yeah,
can say anything.
Well, you learn a lot there,
Well, that is true, but
especially Thorwallian's tavern.
actually, wouldn't a Eurasian know a few things about the South? Because I'm sure that the South you're talking about is a deeper South than Eurasia. But I mean, I'm on a port city, so I'd probably have talked to an explorer or two in my lifetime.
Well, what you probably know is that there is a trade with so-called Irian leather, which is a black or sometimes red leather that is particularly fire resistant, which is from some kind of scaled animals that comes from what's called a city called Salem, from which you probably only heard that when people talk of a loosening up of morals and of unspeakable acts, then they say it's like in Salem and Samora.
Ah. Huh.
Okay,
Interesting.
so
I keep
So,
that to
next
myself,
session-
though.
Next session, we march to our deaths into the
In the
mountain.
zoo.
Who knows?
the dragon
Okay.
comes out and eats us all. End of campaign.
maybe it's maybe it's the spot for the dragon. It will come to talk to us.
Yeah,
That's
maybe.
rough imagination.
Mhm.
All three of the heads talking at once.
No, they do phrases, but they say
When-
one
when-
word by head.
I don't want to add in too much, but I do know out of character. I do know the lintworm. I think they do have kind of three separate kind of minds. The three head. It is a lintworm, right?
Let's say your legendary lore is good enough to know that, yes.
Yes,
That
it's
would be
like
the
one
main.
of the most famous types of dragons out there. Yeah, and it's quite a feat to defeat one. So
Yeah. Well, I didn't need to have a good legend lore to tell that. It's flying, and it's a dragon, and it's got 3 heads, and
Eating
Dangerous.
a herd of horses.
Yeah.
yeah.
there is like one of the weakest dragons that comes to mind is the swamp dragon, but that one is still quite and many people don't even call it. It's almost more like a pseudo dragon.
Yeah.
And it stinks quite like our elf could not even get close to that probably.
Also, there isn't much. There aren't many dragon slayers in history. Maybe 1 or 2 handfuls, but not much more.
Well, they don't have a big life expectancy, I guess.
Yeah. And those
People
that
who have a death
that were successful very often died in the process. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments on the session?
Well, it was fun to have a change of pace, and yeah. I
Be
really
back
liked
on
it.
the road again, or the open field anyway.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this little meeting goes. It's kind of disappointed it ended when it did. But it's as good as time as any to end, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked it. I liked encountering the Achats. Again, it's always hard for me to keep back on. I don't want to play
I
meta.
understand.
Because I even know that picture you sent. That's literally
Yeah.
from even the old book.
Yeah.
I don't know if they reused it again, but yeah.
And they have some new art, which is also quite nice. But
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting races in the Dark Eye that are more weirder. So it's not just.
yeah, though the Achats are very high on the alien ladder.
Well, I think the only ones maybe I would say are funky are maybe the Rissol. There's a lot of stuff in the sea which is weird.
Yeah. The sea is definitely weirder.
Yeah, maybe on the land they're but aren't the Achats also a possible player race now ever since 4th edition?
Yeah, they did that. Though the way you can use them is still limited because in most places they are feared. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in Dungeons and Dragons, it's interesting because there's a lot of similar races, but yet they're different. It's interesting anyway, so it's good stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
One question I have: does the map thing work for you, or?
Yeah, it was working for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun to see like what we can now all explore. I think
Okay. Good.
Okay, was fun, guys. So talk to you later.
Yeah.
Till next week.
Fun. See you next week.
Yep.
See you next week.